Peace, and this is Taylor. And we did chapter 4, titled Global Solutions to Climate Change. This chapter starts off with a quote that says, "In recent years, the Earth's climate has been buffeted by extremes." I think this quote really explains what our Earth is going through, our climate change, global warming, and all the other environmental issues we are facing now. And I think this chapter can be divided into 3 sections: the past, the present, and the future. The past, to start off, 11 of the 12 hottest years worldwide in record occurred during 1995 to 2006. Massive destruction such as Hurricane Katrina and the heat wave in Europe that killed 30,000 people are just examples. In the present, consensus between scientists is that climate change is human-induced. The CO2 in the atmosphere today is 380 ppm, which is really high compared to past previous years. And today people are putting off climate change, global warming to the side, and categorizing it as a problem of the far future, not knowing that this is a problem right now that needs to be, in a way, attained to right away, because if not, only our children that are growing up now will have to deal with worse situations. The future, to move on, things such as changes in water availability, increased natural hazards, changes in agricultural productivity, rising ocean levels will happen in the near future. Government needs to really support this through direct fundings and incentives, and we must adopt protocols such as the Kyoto so that we can start reducing greenhouse gas concentrations.
Okay, how do we lower our CO2 emissions? We need to find substitutes for fossil fuels. We have a whole plethora of energy-producing resources: solar, wind, geothermal, biomass, nuclear, both fission and fusion. But until we start funding in a serious manner, we're not going to be able to implement these resources on a national and global scale. One of the ways to fund these projects, these low-carbon projects, it was talked about in this chapter, and the one in particular that was interesting to me was the carbon market system, where you put a price on carbon. And a lot of people don't know this, but we already have a cap-and-trade system in this country, and we have it on sulfur dioxide emissions, and that was an act signed into legislation in 1990 by George Bush Sr., the Clean Air Act addendum, and put a cap on sulfur dioxide emissions because it was turning our lakes into acid, and we could see that, we could feel it. And one of the thoughts that came into my mind was, if carbon dioxide had a visible or a substantial effect that we could feel and smell and taste and see, would we really resist cap and trade like we're doing right now? Because we didn't have that resistance in 1990. Living with climate change, it's not a question of whether or not the climate is going to change now and can we stop it. It's the fact that we have changed the climate, and how are we going to adapt to it? And one of the examples that was used in this is, now that the tropics, the air flows that take warm, moist air from one place to another, shifting, it's bringing warm, moist air to areas where mosquitoes previously couldn't hatch and spread malaria. And so areas higher up now have to adapt to the fact that they're experiencing malaria outbreaks that they've never experienced before in mountains, and hundreds, thousands of these people are dying every year because they have no natural immunity. We need research and development. We need targets set by the national government of states and nations all over the world where they commit to that goal, much like Kyoto and what was supposed to happen in Copenhagen. And it says that worldwide R&D needs are probably close to $30 billion per year. And now that we have the Green Fund that came out of Copenhagen, hopefully we can get that.